Um, Unfortunately, we get the big one here that I warned you we're going to have to talk about. Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. God sure does throw down abomination a lot. Um, Also very specific here. So this is obviously against gays, but doesn't say anything about lesbians. There's no don't.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, are any of these rules for women at all? Like, are you guys just like scot free?
I think so. I mean, aside from the fact that we are unclean 90% of the time, and
So yeah, unfortunately, this is the chapter, the specific line that is frequently quoted as God saying gays are bad. There
right.
are those who say that this may be a mistranslation and that instead of man, it is supposed to say young boys or children,
Mm,
which
okay. That's, I can agree with that.
I think we could all get on board with that one. Also, kind of gross is that immediately don't lie with man as with womankind, that is abomination, and then literally the next sentence is don't sleep with animals either. So it's almost like, and
Hmm.
you know what, that is one of the nonsense things we hear, like, oh, if we allow gay marriage, soon you'll be able to like marry a horse, which sounds insane, but oh, here's the most perfect book ever written, most
Are
popular book.
people saying that?
Oh yeah, no, that's it. As somebody who has come from a hometown where people don't think much for themselves, yes, I have 100% heard that.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So I have no idea. Like I'm not, here's the thing. I think this is like just more opinion and
mm,
not whatever. But I think Christians, we like to focus on like, there's like two scriptures that talk about homosexuality
mm,
in the whole, there's 66 books in here. Like, and there's like a whole lot of other stuff. Now, granted, going through the past 18 chapters of Leviticus, like there's a lot of stuff that it's like hard to be like, this, why are we killing goats and all that.
mm,
But I do think that there's a honing in on something that might not have even been that big of a deal
mm,
in the whole thing. Like when you talk about one thing, um, like there's not, like it's mentioned, so obviously it was in some way worth mentioning,
mm.
but I don't know that that's the thing.
Right.
And
It is.
so, but
It,
because like we can politicize it
mm,
and make it a big thing, it that's why they go to this one and uh the Sodom and Gomorrah stuff.
mm,
Um that's why they hone in on that. And it's like there's like a lot of other stuff. And
right.
especially as Christians, like in Christianity, the main focus is like what was Jesus saying and what was he doing.
Right.
And you're focused on this Old Testament like thing. So this is my personal political like stamp on how I feel
Mm,
about it. I really don't think it's a big deal. I don't think that it's a sin and
yeah.
you know
See,
all those things. So
so unfortunately, again, having never really read Leviticus, I can see now how, not that I think it would happen any differently, but I can see how people really, really make a big deal about this because one of the lines immediately after it, because you would think that, well, they're not bothering you, it's not harming you, what do you care? Well, literally like a chapter later, it says, quote, defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for the nations I cast out before you defiled themselves, and the land is defiled. Therefore, I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. So almost literally saying, like, don't do this. Also, if you allow this, like, God is going to pack up and leave your country. And that's pretty harsh. And unfortunately, it does kind of give license for that, for, you know, that justification of like, well, this can't be in our community.
Yeah. Whatever scripture you just said, that's not what's quoted. So I don't even like what you were saying is like something like you look that up. I don't think people are really looking it up in that way to make their point.
Like I said, it's
So,
it's in there
but
as
yeah.
justification, but even if that was never written in the Bible, I would still see that. Like, I remember watching a documentary about extreme religion, and there is actually a clip of somebody saying in earnest in like the 80s that we have to keep this a holy country, otherwise God will pick up and go somewhere else. Which is, and to think America of all the countries is where God would choose to literally plant a flag.
Yeah.